Alright guys, so today's video is pretty simple. You guys can see by the title. It's about net neutrality and the importance of that. And I don't typically get involved in lots of stuff like this, but I feel like this is something that's important in general to anybody who uses the internet. And if you don't know, net neutrality is basically everything on the internet will be equal. So like every website will do the same exact things, basically. So in essence, with everything being equal, all the websites will load the same on the same internet. So if you load YouTube on your internet, or you load, say, Amazon, they can load equally. But some companies like Verizon, AT&T, companies like that want it to be not a thing. So that way they can either slow down your internet or your connection that you have. So that way they can get a little bit more money. Or they can charge you higher prices. And there's a lot of stuff that they can do. And this makes the price of everything on the internet will go up. You know, you'll have stuff that will cost more to use something because the company that might have their service be this speed has to be a little bit slower because they're going to pay more to compete with the other companies. And this here hurts everything from the economy and the country to innovation of future technology. And that's something that has to be not taken away, because having the economy be good helps the country be better, and you don't want to mess up the economy. And the other thing is that you want there to be more innovation, which then has more impact on the economy. Because if you look at things that are important in the economy on the stocks, big companies like Apple and Google and Amazon, their stocks are up there and they're worth a lot to the economy. But if they have to start paying more money to compete with other companies, there becomes an issue. And you'll see things that will make it harder for someone to make a website. So look at three important things that a lot of people use now: Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. These are all big things. And I guess we can throw Amazon in there as well. Before they were big companies, now of course Instagram now is owned by Facebook, but again, Facebook's another example. And I guess you can even throw Google in there. So before all these companies were big companies, you know, before Amazon was like selling you whatever you want in the world, before Facebook, Instagram, Twitter were connecting you to anybody in the world, before YouTube was allowing anybody that wanted to sit in front of a camera and talk about whatever they want, like I'm doing right now, and before, you know, you had the ability that you could do basically whatever you want and put it on YouTube, there had to be a place where these companies made their stuff. And Google, before you could search for anything you wanted, there was a point where one person or two people had to make their thing. So Google was made. And of course Google was there sort of more towards the beginning of the internet becoming popular. But a lot of these other companies started out a little bit later, you know. Facebook, I believe, was like 2004. YouTube was 2005. Of course, YouTube owned by Google now. And Instagram as well is a thing that somebody made that, because everybody has equal access, you can get to it. But if somebody makes this little company, because now again these are all big companies, but at one point they're all little companies. And right now there's little companies out there that in a couple years from now will be big companies that nobody knows what they are yet, but they'll be out there. At one point, if this gets taken away, there's going to be less chance that a new company can come up, because they're going to have to pay more money to compete with other companies. So if net neutrality wasn't a thing, we might not have Twitter. There might not be Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, even Google. They're all things that were started, and Amazon as well. All these are companies, and these are just a couple that are right there. Most of them I don't really use Facebook, but I threw it in there because a lot of people do. All these companies without net neutrality, when they started, would have had to pay more to get out there because they got to pay more for their internet, their website to load faster on the internet for you to access it. So basically what I'm saying is that having net neutrality is important, and I want to sit here and try to have as much of an impact as I can. And I know that there's 863 people that hit the button to subscribe. So when 863 people go onto YouTube, they will see this in their sub box. And to anybody else who can see it, this is the impact that I want to be able to have. I know I can't have a super big impact as if somebody with millions of subscribers was to come out here and make this video. But I feel like this is what I can do. Because even with 863 people loading into YouTube, checking their sub box, they can see this video and be like, that's a good thing. And I tweeted it out, so the people that follow me on Twitter, they can see it as well. And I feel like this is something that is really important. It was something that I didn't really pay too much attention to because I knew it was there. And recently, I know it got brought up, and today when I read more about it, read in depth, like I knew what it did, but I read more in depth and figured out how much importance it has in impacting what you do. And I know a lot of people don't like to pay for, certain things. If you don't want to pay a lot for using a website, which you shouldn't have to pay a lot to use a website. I like the option of paying. You got Amazon. If you want Amazon Prime, you can pay to use Amazon, but you can use it for free. YouTube, same thing. YouTube Red. If you want to, it's there as an option. And I like that, but I feel like it would come to a point that these companies have to start charging people to use their websites in general. And that would have a really big impact on everybody and the country in general. And I think that this is something that before anybody makes a decision in Washington, D.C., if they're like, we're getting rid of this, to make a decision on what they believe is best for the country and not best for their friends of these big companies. Because everybody in Washington's friends with these big ass companies, and the companies are like, hey, you want to vote on that so it helps us? Miss me with that shit. What we got to focus on is what's best for the country and the people that use what's on the internet. And the internet has such an impact on what everybody does, an impact on the economy of the country and the way the country is run in, what we do money-wise and what we can do in every way in the country, the economy, everything leads to it. And by making there be net neutrality not as a thing, it would be very bad for the country. And I hope that the people that have a voice, that can say something that has an impact, will listen. And I think that, again, the people need to make their decision based on what's best for the country, best for the economy, and not what's best for their corporate friends. That's all I gotta say on that. It's crazy this is something we have to talk about, honestly. I don't know. Let people use the internet, why? Why do I have to talk about this, honestly? People should be able to connect equally on the internet to any website they want. Companies should be equal so we can have more innovation. But that's all I gotta say. It's insane that this is something that people are considering getting rid of.